John, you've seen a lot of things in your career, and I'd like to hear your thoughts about this moment that we find ourselves in right now. And perhaps related to that, I'm sure you've been thinking strategically when you made a decision to acquire AppGeo. So maybe you could share some of your insights that led to the decision to proceed with that acquisition. John?
Thanks, Bill. To follow on to what you were saying, when we look at the markets in a very broad sense from the perspective of most of the vendors, you have a civil government market and then include state, county, cities, and then you have a defense and intelligence market, and then you have a commercial market, and then you have an international market. So when we start talking about the civil side market, including states, counties, cities, I've never seen, to follow on what you were saying, I've never seen the kind of funding come to fruition as we've seen with these last two acts that have been passed. Just huge amounts of money. Now, that said, geospatial isn't called out as in a line item in most of the language. There's a few. EPA got $40 million for a GIS system and some things like that, but that amount of funding is just huge. And to further your point, most of it is related to has a relationship to geospatial activities. Although they're not called out, they are a foundation for a lot of the goals of those acts. And it's going to take a lot of collaboration with multiple entities to go after that funding. A ton of that funding is grant related. In the Inflation Reduction Act, there's about $80 billion of grant money. The actual federal agency money is relatively small. It's only about $13 billion. There's over $100 billion of loans and grants. And then the rest of it is what I would call a rebate program. If you want to go buy an electric car or do something like that, it's for corporations and people to give them an incentive to move to a greener environment, so to speak. But the amount of money that is out there is unprecedented. So that is a forerunner to the decision to procure AppGeo. The acquisition of AppGeo was ongoing, but the high level thoughts are we wanted a complete end-to-end geospatial services company focused on geospatial, not focused on some other market, but focused on the geospatial market and a company that could do anything, right, related to geospatial. Whether you wanted consulting or 3D models or LiDAR, whatever it is, we wanted the ability to respond and provide those services. And with the acquisition of AppGeo, the opportunities are amazing that we've seen just in the first 90 days of working together. And, we're looking forward to what that means in the future.